without further ado, we have a wonderful, wonderful guest in here. This lady is going to blow your mind. When I read about her story, I was like, oh my God, we got to talk about this. So let's go ahead without further ado and get this thing cracking.
It's all about that star power.
Stay tuned because you know Reese is going to have one of your favorite stars with him today.
Stay tuned.
All right, man. Coming from Kansas City.
Whoop, whoop.
All the Chief fans just perked up.
Hey.
We got Shanese Drama Queen Shields in the building. Let me go ahead and hit that hype bell one more time. Her story is unique. It's incredible. You might be the only black person I know, besides Martin Luther the King Jr., that volunteered to go to jail. Sheesh.
I know. I'm crazy. What can I say?
We're going to talk about that because of your story. Obviously, you were able to make headlines, make headways. You got this series on Netflix right now that you're a part of. You all over everybody's televisions in their homes, in their hearts, because they learn who you are.
Right.
But let's start, not from the beginning, but let's just start with something that you made very public. Celiac disease, and people don't know what that is, and you were able to bring a nice magnifying glass on your situation. So tell us about who you are. Who is Shanese the Queen, the Drama Queen Shields? Who are you, and then when did you learn that you were suffering from celiac disease, and what is it?
Sure. Well, Shanese is an educator. I am a creator. I love to write poetry. I write screenplays. I'm an actress. I'm a writer, producer, director. I started my own production company. But more importantly, I love to, because of my trials and tribulations that I've gone throughout my life, I'm a fighter from the underdog. And so, you know, some people, when God puts illnesses and things on their plate, they ask, you know, why me? And I did that at first, and he said, well, why not you? You know, and so probably now we're at about 12 years ago, I was getting really, really sick. I lost 90 pounds.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of weight. Like, I have a big head, so I kind of look like a bobblehead on a toothpick.
See, now we talking. Because I'm shaped like a spoon, too. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good.
So
I feel your pain. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to find a hat size to match the outfit. I get it.
I was just, you know, bobbling away.
There we go.
So I lost 90 pounds, and my hair fell out. My hair was starting to fall out. And my best friend, Bridget, what's up, Bridget? Bridget Brown in Kansas City. She had submitted me for some program to get a makeover for somebody that's doing something good in the community. So the young lady, oh goodness, I think her name is Aisha, that did my hair. She was like, you know, your hair, the way your hair is falling out, you have a deficiency of some type, because it was falling out like in a V. It was really weird.
Right.
And so she was like, we're going to have to cut all your hair off, and you're going to have to start from scratch. Are you okay with that? And I was it was sad. And I'm like, sure. And so I started, you know, getting tests ran. At that time, I went to my primary care physician. I was actually, you know what? I remember now, I was 29, because at that time, I stopped also having a menstrual cycle. And so I was like, something's wrong. I'm not having a cycle. My hair is falling out. I'm losing weight. So my primary care physician sent me to a gastrointestinal doctor. They were doing the colonoscopy. They were doing the endoscopy, where they go down your throat. They did all of this. They couldn't find anything. They sent me to an oncologist. They said maybe it's cancer, maybe it's diverticulitis, maybe it's Crohn's disease. Like, I'm researching all this stuff.
Because there's multiple things that you got, ailments going on, so it could be any of these things.
It could be any of these things. And so they couldn't find out what it was. And so I was like, you know, just forget it. And my mom and my dad and my sister was like, no, you can't stop. This is your health. So you got to keep going. And so I went to my gynecologist. And as soon as I walked in, I had, you know, splashes on my skin. I had discoloration, my hair. She was like, I think you have celiac disease. And I was like, Celia, who? I was like, don't tell me. I'm not going to
heard of this. You probably never heard of this.
I had never heard of it. And I had told myself, I'm not going to research anything new, because they keep telling me stuff, and I keep researching. I'm going to wait until they do the test and see if I have it, then I'll do the research. And so
jumping in, and they're just saying, man, they really appreciate you sharing this story. It's a beautiful thing. Michelle A, shout out to Tall Boy, just checked in too, so appreciate that. I do want to jump into two things, because you said it's hard. I don't want to explain this to people all the time. I don't want to be seen as over dramatic, right? And I also also don't want to share this with my family all the time because they may not understand. But then you do a 180 and say, you know what, I'm gonna share with the world,
right,
and go to jail in the process. So let's
Right.
talk about that too, because
Right.
how did you get presented with this situation to volunteer to go to prison? but you're also dealing with such a trying disease, a challenging disease.
Honestly, it's nothing but God. I watched the show. I was a fan of the show. I watched, I think, maybe 3 episodes in one Christmas break one year. And I said, what idiot will volunteer to go to jail? And so I came to Atlanta in 2018. I attended the Tasha Smith acting workshop.
Yeah.
And
Shout out Tasha Smith. She said I was fine. Y'all can go look that up.
Well, you know she partially blind. No, I'm just playing.
I like you. Hold on, let me hit the high bell. You got me. That explains a lot. Probably the eye I was in. It's all good.
No, but I really had an opportunity to talk to her and bond with her. And I decided that I was going to start putting myself out there. You know, I thought originally I only had the confidence and the talent to present myself in the Midwest. And so I started my Instagram because Tasha Smith said, you need to get on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I saw a casting call I joined different Facebook groups, and so I saw a casting call, and it was like, you know, do you love helping people? Do you have a big personality? And I'm like, yep, check, I can do that. And so I applied, not really thinking to hear anything, you know, from the people. And I end up getting a call back, and I saw who the production company was. So I immediately Googled. I'm like, let me see if I can do a process of elimination. Right. And so I saw that they had a show called Undercover High. And everybody always tells me, you know, you look younger than you are. So I'm like, oh, they want me to go in high school and, you know, report and all this. I'm like, oh, I can do that. So I remember I had a meeting with a student because at the time I was running the alternative school program, and I was sitting outside. I was getting ready to go meet a client, and they called me. So they were talking to me about it, and they're like, you know, how do you feel about this show? How do you feel about this show? And they were like, I was like, oh no, 60 days in. I'm like, no. I was like, people had to be crazy to, you know, go to jail. And they were like, well,
funny thing.
Actually, that's what we're calling you for. I said, okay, well, thank you, but no, thank you. I'm good. They were like, well, can you just hear us out? And I said, I mean, sure, but I'm not doing it. Right. So then they said, well, just take a week and think about it. And I prayed about it.
They saw something in you that you didn't see in yourself. Something for you.
I guess. I guess. I mean, they did. And, you know, my first thing was, no, I have celiac disease. And they were like, well, what is that? We need to research it. Do you need to take medicine? Right. So I kind of told them, and I was like, you know, I can't do this because of celiac. My family's against it. You know, I can't do it. Right. And then it was like, well, I can't take off work for 60 days. And it was like every excuse that I gave. Right now, who you with? Reese. Who you with? Right now, who you with?